Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 891 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today, I'm going to do a book report, or more maybe called a book review. And the book I'm going to talk about, I don't know any marketers, high-level marketers that haven't read this book multiple times. I don't even know anybody from all the years I've been doing this. So we'll get to that in a minute. Hope you didn't miss episode 890. That was 9 ways to get people to give you money. Even if it's not online, there's ways you can use online to get money until you can get to the point where you can be all online. So that's episode 890. Anytime you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. That was 890. Today's 891 for the book review. And then also make sure you grab a copy of our automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free and check out my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. All right, let's get into it. The book is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. This guy's still alive. That's nice when somebody is still alive and has a legacy kind of book. But like I said, I don't know any top marketers that haven't read this book multiple times. It's always in their library. And so what I'm going to do today is just tell you 2 of the stories from the book that just stick in my mind for years and years. Because I first saw this book many years ago. I can't even tell you how many. And I've used their principles, over and over and over again in my copywriting to get people to buy stuff and do stuff. And if you can't afford my copywriting class, copywriting901.com, this is a absolutely great start. And you might see different covers. They've had different covers over the years, but if it's Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, the first version, I don't know about the sequels or any of that, but you will you will thank me for it. But so let me tell you about a couple things that I learned from the book and stories that just stuck in my mind. And this one is about being too cheap. And I mean, I have my own personal story is when I broke into professional speaking from entertaining, I was trying to break in at $500 for a speech. And I was told that I was better than people charging $4,000 and $5,000 at the time because I had already had 1,000 comic performances under my belt, I had a lot of business experience. So I tried to break in at $500. I couldn't get one speech. The first speech I ever got was $1,250, and that was only because it was a referral because somebody got sick and couldn't do it. So they gave me $1,250 to fill in. But that's my story. So that's the thing about being too cheap. People think that it's no good. So here's the story from the Cialdini book, where this lady had this store in a resort area, and she had this bunch of Native American, I don't know if it was pewter, kind of jewelry, and it wasn't selling. So she was going on a buying trip, and she told the manager to knock it down to half price and get rid of it. But somehow the manager messed up and doubled the price of the stuff. And it all sold out before she got back. All right. So you figure, okay, what's the psychology of this? Well, first of all, people don't go to a resort and on a big vacation, maybe they haven't been on in a couple years, and then come home and brag to their friends that they got a piece of jewelry out of a bubblegum machine for $0.25. Okay? It's a special deal for them. Remember, this was a resort area. It's special to them, and they'll overspend for sure, put it on credit cards, whatever it is, so that they can brag that they bought this super unique jewelry, on their resort trip. All right. So that's just one of the I don't know if there's hundreds of stories in the book, but the principles in the book are just awesome. All right. So now the next one was a story about the reason why technique, which I go over extensively in my copywriting901.com course. But anyway, one of his examples was that I think he was a professor at Arizona State, and they always had a big long line in the library at the copy machine. And so he had his researcher go in and go up to the front of the line and say very specific things like, can I cut in the line because I have a quiz? Just something like that. And the people that agreed to it, there was some 80+%, in other words, okay, now you wouldn't do this in England because queuing in England is, you better not jump in the front of the line. But anyway, it was very high acceptance that she had a reason why she needed to jump in the line. So then he had the researcher go back and say, I need to jump in the line because, and he told the researcher, this will blow your mind, don't say anything after the word because. Don't say a word. Just say, I need to cut in front of the line because. The acceptance was still massively high. Even if they didn't give the reason, they implied that there was a reason with the word because, and the acceptance of this person cutting the line was very high. And then he had them go back. Of course, there's all different lines of people, right? It wouldn't be the same people. So go back and say, I need to cut in front of the line, but don't say the word because. People were bitching at him and, yelling, no, get to the back, we waited here, they're just making a ruckus over it. And the acceptance ratio was almost nothing. So just implying that there's a reason why you do something or reduce your cost or reduce your price, implying is enough to do it. But if you give a real reason why, which is one of the copywriting techniques I harp on in my course, it can get you high acceptance ratios. Because for instance, with the price thing, if you just drop your price, like at my peak, I was $20,000 for a speech. That was for a check. Now I made 5 times that much average when I did back of the room sales. But if I was getting paid by a corporation or association, I was $20,000. So if they asked me, well, what's your fee? And I said $20,000, and they say, well, we only have $1,500. And I said, I'll take it. All right. So that's called fee credibility. But if I said something like, well, I've got a lot of products and services, and $1,500 is way below my fee schedule for appearances. But if you allow me to sell at the back of the room, then I'm sure we can come to some agreement. So in other words, I'm dropping the price because you're letting me sell at the back of the room where I can make up the difference. See? So anyway, those are just 2 of the many stories in this book. So and I'm not an affiliate with Amazon or anything. So I'm encouraging you to get this book if you want to emulate high-level marketers, because they've all just eaten this book up for years and multiple times. So that's Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. And if you want help with all this stuff, with my unique, most successful, most unique ever in the field of internet and digital marketing, give me a call or check with me at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and I will help you one-on-one, along with my entire staff will be at your disposal. All right, check it out. All right, we'll catch you all in the next episode. See you later.